Boats are expensive. It's easy to dump a bunch of cash into a boat and only use that thing for a couple trips per year. And a lot of times that can leave you feeling like, well, I could have used that money to put in my retirement. I could have used that money to pay off my kids' college debt. I could have used that money to do anything except waste it in this boat that I don't even use. Now, I really believe there's a cheaper way. You can always just scrap up some materials like some wood, a few nails, a few screws, and you can have a John boat that's worthy of being a yacht that you could take a king out fishing in. But there's one more problem. That last problem is time. Do you really have time to build a boat? Do you even have the skills to cut, weld, screw, design, plan an entire boat? I mean, let's think about this. After you do all your kids' practice, you cut the grass, you watch the football game on Sunday, you keep up with politics, you try to drink enough water. How in the world are you going to possibly build a boat? My goal with this project that I'm doing is to build the most simple, affordable boat that works and serves the purpose of the everyday average fisherman like you and me. In this video, I'm going to be installing probably the most important part of the design build of any kind of John boat, and that's extending the deck. I will say this though, this project is already starting to cost a lot more than I thought it would. If y'all are ever building a tiny boat like what I'm building right here today, or really for the next week or month, who knows, since this is a DIY project, you never know if it's going to take me a weekend or if it's going to take a month. But if you're ever doing this, one of the most complex part of it is your decking. I want to extend the deck on this boat, on the front and the back. And there's a specific reason that I want to do that. So I'm curious to hear, if you were going to do that, what would you use to extend your deck? I'm going to explain to you why I'm going to use the materials that I'm going to use and some of the things that I've noticed. And I bet you'll probably be surprised at what I decided to use for it. So first thing we need to talk about, when you buy a John boat, a lot of times, especially if you're going to buy a John boat to use for fishing, a lot of times the decks come kind of small. And that's for a reason, because I know somebody told me and said, well, it doesn't make any sense for them to build a boat, and they know that deck's too small to fish out of. When you buy a boat like this, the whole purpose in it is they build it with the purpose of you being able to turn it into whatever you want to. Some people buy John boats, believe it or not to fish out of, to work out of, to build docks, to sink brush. They're utility boats. Being that I built, this will be my third John boat build in the last few years, I decided to go with wood. The other material you could use is PVC board, which I got some of that here. And I am going to use PVC board for some of the parts of my boat. PVC board, it's just, you can get this at Lowe's, Home Depot. It's cheap stuff that you can use. I'm not going to use it for the flooring, but I am going to use it for the sides. In my opinion, anytime you add any kind of soft, basically like sound barrier to the boat, whether it be your floor, the deck, or the sides, it quiets the boat down. A, from water slap on the side, and just from you moving and shuffling around in the boat like you're always going to be doing. So I am going to use it for the sides. Now, last thing, people are probably going to say, well, oh, Brian, when you do that, if you take go with wood, it's going to be a lot heavier. And you're not wrong, but I ain't got to carry it. With the amount of wood that I'm putting on here, I'm probably going to add another 30 pounds with the 2 pieces of wood that I'll be installing on the boat. I mean, since I'm going to have lithium batteries, adding another 30 pounds doesn't really bother me that much. And I've already kind of sketched out what I want the shape of this to be like. I'm actually not going to have it go straight across. I was about to make this boat an aluminum floor, but I decided not to for this reason right here. Look at this. Loud. When you're in a boat, just the rods clanking around, lures, your feet hustling, bustling around. Keep in mind, I told you I had 2 boys. I decided not to go with aluminum. I was about to. I have a buddy that has a boat that just built one. He uses a rivet gun. used a rivet gun to put his together. And even with the hydro turf, it just wasn't as quiet as wood and really carpet. Listen, have you ever wanted to just drop everything and just focus on fishing for like 3 or 4 days solid? Good. Load up your boat, load up your camper, load up your dog, your family, your wife, whatever farm animals you got, and come to Calhoun Falls State Park for my fishing retreat that I'm having March 27th through March 30th. For the first 2 days of the fishing retreat, we're just gonna focus on fishing, and then I'll be there to guide you along the way to tell you the best areas of the lake to fish on Lake Russell, which is where we're having the event, and some of the best lures that you can throw. All the details you need to know about my straight up fishing retreat at Calhoun Falls State Park at Lake Russell, March 27th through March 30th, you can find at shopblat.com. That's a lot to say. I can't believe I got that in one take. Now, a lot of people are gonna be in the comments showing out about that. Boy, mine has got aluminum in it, and boy, I don't have no problem with that water slap and all those things. Man, listen, Jerry, if that's you, that's fine. I understand you ain't got no problem with that, but I just kind of found that that wasn't gonna be the best way for me, being that this would be my 3rd John boat build in the last few years. There's been a lot of people recommending that I do this to my boat, do that to my boat, insert whatever expensive product, complicated way, let this person build your boat, you should do it this way. Most of those things that people are suggesting, they're not necessarily that they're wrong in what they're suggesting, but I think they're missing the point for me in doing this project. If I wanted a really, really tricked out John boat, I could do that at this point. I don't really need that because I have a bass boat that serves that purpose. I did say I want to use this boat for take my boys fishing. I want to film out of it. I want to fish some small water, but there's also I guess a subliminal message that I'm trying to show younger kids, maybe somebody that's just getting into fishing, that's never fished before, never owned a boat before. None of us started out with very expensive bass boats. We almost all started out doing exactly what you see here. My subliminal message is it's okay for you to build a boat out of scrap wood, out of things from Dollar General, Home Depot. You don't have to start out. Everything doesn't have to be tricked out. Everything doesn't have to be maxed to the nines for you to be able to enjoy it. That they're probably right. This way would be better, or that way would be better. Or somebody else could build the boat way better than what I'm building it. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make with this project, nor my motivation for it. Okay, next thing I got to do is I got to figure out where I want to cut the hole for my recessed foot pedal for my trolling motor. Yeah, I probably should move it a little more forward. Yeah. Yeah, I think I probably should move it a little bit forward. I'm gonna be too close to them boys. I want to get my butt as far that way as I can, because them boys be swinging good, buddy. Hey, if you ever fish with a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, you won't be as far. You trying to create as much distance from them suckers as you can. I bought a recessed foot pedal pan from Tiny Boat Nation. Here it is right here. So what that is, you'll notice this is the back of my deck. That's the front deck. I mark the center. I'll cut a hole for this, sink this down into the deck. That way my foot pedal is down into the deck. So obviously I got to cut a hole here, and I have to cut a hole in the aluminum as well. This is gonna be a boat James Brown would have fished out of. How y'all feel about my these are expensive NASA developed. NASA came up with these safety glasses. Oh, 40-year-old jump up in the boat like that. Getting a little old for it nowadays. You see they got, this is the flotation that I was speaking about that they have in here. I'm obviously gonna have to cut a little bit of this off for the recessed foot pedal to sit in there. That's just not gonna work, but I don't wanna take any of that out. Personally, I don't want to. A lot of people do, and you're fine doing that. Slide everything up, make sure it fits nice and square, and then just need a little persuasion. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay. Little ping pop boom pow. Hey, what's that song every second? I got a ping pop boom pow. Everybody doing it on TikTok. I don't know what the little kid be saying. You notice I did leave the bottom floor the same. Now, if I were taking a boat and it didn't have any floors in it at all, I would say keeping the subfloor in the bottom of the boat aluminum is probably a wise idea. Even if the boat isn't exposed to weather, the fact that all of your water drains to the bilge is at least always moist underneath here, it's probably a good idea to have that aluminum. I'm not gonna put storage in this boat. That's going to upset a lot of people. Why you ain't putting storage in it, Brian? You know you gotta have somewhere to put your tackle. You gotta be able to put this, that, and the other. This is what I learned with putting storage in my John boat. This is just for me. Doesn't mean it's gotta be for you, okay? When I do that, what happens is I take one of my tackle boxes, bop, put it in here. Go flying down the road, it rains, it does whatever it does. I get water in my tackle boxes, water in wherever my storage is, and it ruins a lot of my lures. So what I do, I've done this before on another boat that I built. I did create a deck, but instead of cutting up this front deck and making it for storage, what I did is the extension, I'll leave that hollow. I put everything that I need in a bag, and then I take that bag in and out. Another thing I decided to do is I'm actually going to extend this back deck a little bit too. What I'm doing is extending this a foot, and it gives me like a little shelf to tuck a tackle bag, a small cooler, my batteries, or a gas tank. I've been thinking about this a bunch. You know, your weight when you teeter-totter out a John boat. I'm gonna have a fairly heavy trolling motor, so that's gonna be a lot of weight up front. I want my gas and my 3 batteries back here. Extend this. This is not a lot of room for you to be able to stand on right here. Come on in here, Jordan, so you can see on top of here. All this area right here is where, you know, you would put your batteries, a gas tank, or whatever you'd want to put in here. Well, I actually want to cut some of this off. I'll still be able to get my batteries in this area, but I want to make it to where I have more deck than I have gap here. I don't need all that open space. So I'm going to make a little circular section right here where I can still get my batteries in, but I'll have more fishing deck. Now, what's everybody going to say? Well, Brian, that ain't going to last here all the time. It's going to rot. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Let me ask you something about that, Barry. What's your house made out of? Is your house made out of aluminum? Lasts a long time, doesn't it? If you're keeping your boat inside and you're not just letting it be trashed by the weather, you can do a few amendments to your wood, and I'm telling you, it's going to last a very, very long time. I have a boat that I built in 2010 with wood floors. I gave it away to my cousin in 2017. It's still clucking along just fine. These are what I'm just calling little sound panels. I use the PVC board. You see, I just covered the back of it. This is just some carpet that I got at Lowe's and Home Depot. PVC board, and this is gonna go along the side. Now this is gonna serve 2 purposes here. All right, so you see it's gotta be below the deck. That's why I got these, like it's angled down, because obviously the deck is gonna come here. It's gonna be angled down. 2 purposes. When I run my wires from the front to the back, I'll be able to hide my wires right along the side of this and run them to wherever I need to run them when I get to that point. Won't be this video. Secondly, obviously sound. It's just gonna deaden the sound to it. Another thing it's gonna do is if I want to put rod straps, I have something good to screw into. Speakers, rod holders, plier holders, utensils. I have somewhere that I can screw along to right along the side of the boat. It's multifunctional. I got 2 of them here. What I'm gonna do is mock everything up, make sure it fits. Sometimes I'll even take it fishing, because you'll get a floor shape in and then you think it looks really good, and then you get it out on the water and you're like, man, this thing just really doesn't function the way that I thought it was going to. Supplying power to the boat is always tricky to me. Well, Tiny Boat Nation, they have a whole wiring kit. This is what I bought. I'll leave a link to this in the description box and in the comment section that you can, so you can go get this if you're doing a boat build. But look at this. This is the premium wiring package that you can buy for tiny boats. And this has enough wire to wire this entire boat. Plumbing for the bilge pumps. This was a fail-safe. This saved me a lot of time, which in my world, time is money. More time I can save, more time I can build more videos and make more content for you. I'm excited about it. It'll be a pretty quick build. 2 more days, we'll be able to go fishing in this thing. Thank y'all for watching the video today. Don't light me up in the comments. If you have more questions around boats, buying used boats, buying kayaks, John boats, or bass boats, I've got the perfect tool for you. Right now on my app, the Straight Up Fishing app, I'm actually doing a dream boat build series. This is where we're talking about the best accessories. We're talking about the best boats to buy for the needs that you have fishing however you fish. You can join that with the link that I'm going to put in the comments and the description box of this video. We cover a lot of different topics, and I actually bring in other professionals to talk about boat rigging, inflatable boats, John boat builds, and even kayaks. So make sure you join. You'll find a lot of valuable information that'll help you make the right choice for the things that you buy for your boat.